Okay. We're going to keep it in English. Good morning, everybody. I think good afternoon in South Africa. This is the last training session of the year. Okay. Training session will be daily and weekly planners that you were supposed to email to me. Okay, as part of your home. The email. Then I need an email with your goals and your lists. Okay, I think there's background noise, so mute yourself and then just put your microphones on when you need to ask me something. I got now. So let's just quickly recap what we've done and what we're going to do. Monday, 16 January, you're going to email me your business plan and your marketing plan. On the 16th of January, you're going to present your marketing plan as part of your presentation. Okay? That's going to be 10 minutes long. Each and every person in Estate Zone Group is okay. Today I'm going to go through chapter 1 on your PDE 4 file and help you to tag it. I'm going to with you, okay, because we've got a bit of wind on the island, so I'm just going to turn off my camera now and I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to share my yes. They, if you guys cannot hear me for whatsoever reason, put on your microphones and say or ask me questions. Raise your see if you raise your hand, but you're welcome to interrupt me. Put your microphone on and ask me questions. Okay. Now, this is chapter 1. We did discuss it briefly last week of your PDE 4 file. You will see this file is all about communication. Probably can ask you, what is the definition of communication? Then you're going to see it's on page 7. So there you might as well just highlight all are in your file. Okay, so you will have to know meetings and procedures, negotiations, if you're going to debate something, different social, cultural contexts.
Annelie, share nou jou skerm. Oh, sorry, are you sharing your screen?
This will add you. Is someone asking something?
Yes. Are you sharing your screen?
Okay. Yes, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
No.
Mariska and Estelle, can you see my screen?
No. No.
Okay, let me just do this again. Okay, hold on. I'm going to open it up. Let's do this. Share. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Thank you.
Yes.
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 Perfect. Okay. I see Aru and Arnie is absent from this meeting. Okay, so they will have to go and look at it at a later stage. But I did give you the dates and the assignments that we need. Chapter 1 of your PDE file. You can see I highlighted mine, okay, communication groups and groups dynamics. If you look, I want you to highlight your your index the same as I highlighted mine. On page 35, you will see presentation that is due the 16th of January. So we do a lot of overlapping work, okay? I'm going to go through this whole document with you, the whole chapter, and tell you where I highlighted mine, and you can do the same. So this is page 1. You know, you can always go back and look at the video again after I load it on YouTube. But you have to do this. This is now preparation for the PDE4 exam, okay, that we're doing. So they're going to how to use language, facts and opinions, speech. Anybody's got a question?
Yes. Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
you're breaking up quite a lot. So when you're talking, some of the stuff cuts out. Some things you say.
I don't know if it's because my internet looks quite fast, David. I've got full. Yeah, it looks fine. I'm gonna hide this. Let's carry on. Can you guys hear me now? Better? No?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear.
So I'm gonna.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to move on. Okay, so I showed you the index on page 7 of the chapter 1 file. Okay, let's see. This is someone is trying to get in. Okay. Hi, Marnie, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to carry page. This is why we all need to be in the meeting, like let's say 10 to 10, 5 to 10 at the latest, that we don't interrupt the session. Okay. Page 7, you tag communication. Because they might ask you in the question, they have like in the examination, there's multiple questions. What is communication? Then it's like your communication may be defined as the exchange of ideas, messages, and information. So you have that, you know where your communication is, and you see on page 7. So tag this because it might. If you have so let's carry on. If you have answers, interrupt me, please. Okay. This is now with your groups. Again, it sounds like a silly question, but they might ask you, what is a group and will it have a specific objective? And then if you go, okay, someone is asking, Marnie Buckle, admit. I admit again. Okay. I'm sorry for changing the screens. Okay. A group will have a specific objective. Okay. It will have an agenda. This is okay. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? Is there any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
No questions from me.
Okay. Work, it doesn't sound like it's important, but these are all potential questions. This is why an open book exam is so difficult, because you think all the information is silly questions, but they're going to ask you silly questions. Okay, so you need to highlight this, and you will need to know, okay, a group is on page 9. What is the objective of a group? It must maintain focus. It must reach a decision. What is effective communication? Okay. And you must have a feeling of ownership if there's decisions taken by the group. So this is all about groups. Okay. And what I did line. Okay, and you will see and there's groups and group dynamics. So this is very important. That's why I highlighted it. So you're going to really refer back to your index and you're going to highlight the key definitions, okay? Outcome for module, and I'm discussing what their outcomes right now with you. Okay, so there we have our group dynamics, okay? Then we carry on, okay? The most important aspect is to ensure that you promote effective your gestures to your audience, and it's going to be written communication. You're going to email me your business plan and your marketing plan, and we're going to test your verbal communication because I will record your sessions where you're going to do your presentation. So this will help you. Okay, now I just want to go back there. The next meeting, okay, the next meeting that you have to see how actively you participate in group meetings. So what I suggest is with your next office meeting, have a brainstorm session. You don't have December period, but it might be not such a bad thing if you do, to discuss marketing ideas. How can you reach your potential buyers for the properties that you are selling? I will draw up a agenda, and this can be put in your made a note here. I said maybe Arlo can be the group leader. He can provide new ideas and approve ideas. Marnie can be the arbitrator and the timekeeper to brainstorm new. Maybe you can take minutes. Section 3, what is the goal of the group? What is the agenda of the group? How is the group progressing? What developments have occurred during the meeting? Has the group maintained focus? So that is like section 3. This is just ideas for you. David, you can brainstorm, provide new ideas, give feedback on the current methods. Marushka, you as well, give feedback on the current methods. Are they working for you? Do you want to incorporate new ideas? So this all can participate and generate new ideas, and you can give feedback. Estelle, I marked the monitor section of section 3, I marked in green. And brainstorming session, did it improve your communication, your overall communication? So this is just an example for you to do, but they might ask you questions about this, okay? Again, interviews and techniques. 12 now of chapter 1, okay? The interviewer conducts the interview, okay? And the interviewee is the respondent, okay? You need to know that. They might ask you a question about that, okay? Who's the respondent in an interview? And then you will, okay? They like definitions. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to carry on. On page 13, okay, a respondent, okay, who does not feel threatened is most likely to share information with you as the interviewer, and this will make interpersonal communication more effective. This is to gain trust. I put a note here. Did I put a note? Let's see. Sorry. Let's just go back here. But anyway, I can relationship of trust with a potential buyer or a potential seller. Remember, in our previous communication, we said that it's so important to build a relationship of trust. Okay. So if your buyer or your seller is not feeling threatened, it will help a long way. Do you plan not to be threatened? It's your voice, the tempo of your voice. Are you relaxed? Are you fidgeting? So always talk slow. The slower you talk, the better. Okay. Too fast, but I listen to my WhatsApp messages. Everything is like super slow. It's better to talk slowly. Effective communication. You will communicate the specific information that you require. Okay. So you have to plan what you're going to tell this person, this client, this seller. Is you're going to have to read him as well. Okay, do some background information, see where he's working. His financial information will be. That's information that you can do background checks on when you see a seller. Okay, and then ask your questions in logical order. I mean, when you list a house, ask the questions, prepare same as when you work with don't ask silly questions, like first start with what is your specifications of a house, and then go over to the garden, and then what's be flexible, because in an interview, situations can change and you have to adapt quickly. You can see, oh, okay, my seller is not so analytical as I thought, so I must do more chit-chatting with him. So you have to be flexible, okay, very important. Okay, role play, this activity 1.4 is the same as you can that you can do with family or friends. Role play and make if you are interviewing a buyer or a seller. Istala, you already did some of your activities with Andre, which is wonderful. Thank you for that. Remember, I said to you the last time, I'm not going to give you more homework to do, but each and every, someone wants to say something? Okay. Each and every chapter, I'm going to go through like this with you and show you what you need to highlight and what you need to tag, okay? Your interview must be effectively planned. You have to do necessary background, ask your questions in a logical order, and show flexibility. There, everything is in a nutshell. The interviewer must retain focus throughout the interview. Data collected from the interview must be organized in a meaningful way. Okay, factual and relevant deductions or assumptions must be made. Okay, a deduction is a method of providing data. So you do a deduction. It's basically summarizing all the information. Okay, deduction. And the interviewer must create a non-threatening environment for the interview. It's the atmosphere that you create with your voice, your verbal communication, your gestures, your tone of voice, your body language. I'm going to carry on. Okay, we on to page 6. Point of order. They might ask you, what is a point of order? Now, we're not going to know, but it's something to do with communication, okay? It's a member, by raising a point of order, can draw the attention of the chairperson to an irregularity in the proceedings of the meeting, okay? The chairperson then makes a ruling on that matter, okay? So again, this is some silly question, but they want to test you to see if you know where the content is in your file. So that's a point of order. Chairperson, I think we all know what a chairperson is, but you can highlight that if you feel you want to highlight it for a definition. But for me, point of order, it's like, it's not really language that we use every day. A motion is a suggestion made to the meeting regarding a certain action to be followed to clarify the position of the meeting. A motion can be a positive suggestion. It does not necessarily have to be a negative suggestion. Okay, so there I highlighted motion. There's your activities. It's again meeting procedures. We're going to basically, in all this, we're not going to do a meeting in your presentation, but we're going to have questions and answers. You're going to, the rest of the team will ask questions and you will have to answer the it's going to be the same as the meeting procedure. There you're going to exercise. And your brainstorming, you're going to exercise activity 1.7 as well, okay? Debating. What is debating? What's the definition, okay? It's a formal exchange of views. We don't necessarily have to argue when you're debating, okay? Formal debates, informal debates. They can ask you, what's an example of informal debate? What's an example of a formal debate? Then you need to have this information. You need to tag it, highlight it, that you know, oh, I can, it's debates is like a form of communication. So you're going to go to your index section at your communication. You're going to look at the page and then you're going to go to debating. It's on page 19. So, so your index is very important, okay? You can even make small notes. Let's say, I'm back to my index, okay? We were on, sorry, I want to go there to, okay, 19. There's debates, informal and formal. So then you know immediately, okay, go down to page 19 and check. And if it's not highlighted, you will have to read the whole page to do that. So you will have to use your markers and highlight all the key concepts, all the key words. Okay, it's just going to make it so much easier and it's going to save you a lot of time. Okay. Exam, you have to finish in a certain time.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, David? Yeah?
No, sorry, I just reconnected.
David, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm back.
Negotiations. Okay. Negotiations, definitions, and strategies. Okay. To negotiate is to talk about the terms of an agreement and to reach an agreement on the basis of discussion and compromise. There's a definition. So know your. Okay. There's exercises you can. Negotiations in the workplace. Okay. To be a successful negotiator, a successful negotiator, you must have background information. You must analyze the needs of the parties. You must ask relevant questions. You need to listen attentively. Concentrate on your non-verbal communication, your body language. Emphasize the shared interest before dealing with points of differences. This, all of you can learn. This is how you communicate with your buyers and your sellers. Ensure that petty differences are resolved before proceeding to the more important matters, okay? The buyer is worried about the pot plants. The seller must not remove the pot plants. For me, a pot plant is a petty thing. Proceed, resolve it, okay, before you proceed. So resolve the pot plants before you're going to proceed to the more important matters. Say, Mr. Seller, do you want to include your pot plants, yes or no? Then the seller will say no. Then you will tell the buyer, no, the seller wants to remove his pot plants. You can get your own pot plants and put your own stempel down on the matter, you know, your own, put your own unique characteristic down in the pot plant. You can color code it. You can do whatever you want. Let's move on to the building plans. Okay, so resolve petty differences. Remain calm, logical, and rational. Okay, never threaten the parties. Sometimes you feel like you want to threaten them. Okay. Never threaten and always try to negotiate a compromise. The seller doesn't want to leave the pot plants, but he's leaving you the Wendy house, so that's a good compromise, okay? Ensure that none of the parties involved in the negotiation process are humiliated. This is so important, okay? Especially if you work with different cultural groups. Never, ever humiliate anyone. See the individual, okay? They must not be humiliated. They must not lose face or be ignored during the negotiation process, okay? It's so important. You have to look at your buyer and your seller, or your lessor or your lessee. They all are important role players in our jobs description or our job description, okay? It cannot be overemphasized that effective communication will contribute to a positive outcome for all parties involved. This again, debating a matter. This is a self with your family and friends. I did put a note in there. Debating a matter. For me, that was a serious concern when I started, because if you debate, you're not so that's a very good exercise to have on page 22. You have to be convincing, okay? And the person you exercise this with must give you feedback. Were you convincing? Were your argument clear? Okay, rated 1 to 5. How did you present your argument? Okay, then assess that assessment or the feedback that you're going to receive from that person. Assess it and see where you can improve. 23, the different social important. There's always questions about this, okay? Culture refers to the system of values, beliefs, traditions, and behavioral patterns. This is so important because South Africa is the rainbow nations. We are so diverse with different cultural backgrounds. And religious beliefs and geographic groups. Okay, so we like to group people. I started at a very young age not to group people. I always see the individual. Learn from me. Otherwise, if we carry on to group people, we will never move forward in life. We will always see the groupings, see the individual. Okay, very important. When communicating with different cultural levels, guys can read through this, okay? But for me, they say you will Zulu male and with let's say Indian male. I don't see that because I see the individual. I see, okay? I had the Ndebele king at my house. You weren't allowed to touch him. No, and so I couldn't shake his hand. And he was like, he had his bodyguards and everything. And then when we sat at the table, I touched him and I made a joke of as in there. I'm aware of the cultural differences. They always ask you a question. The cultural differences. Do not make assumptions. Okay, avoid stereotyping. That is, if you put people in groups and put them in boxes, okay, then you are stereotyping them. Be flexible and open. Be aware and sensitive to different perspectives. Okay, not all of us has the same reality. Our realities are made up by our social context, language definitions. We allocate to differentiation. Okay, get rid of any negative feelings, assumptions, prejudice. Always try to build an atmosphere of trust. Now, all of these you can't do if you put a person in a box. You will have to see the individual and try to understand that individual, and then you can move forward and have effective communication. Here's a self-assessment questionnaire. Now, the self-assessments are very important. Otherwise, they won't put it in your file. Write down, and I marked it here for you, write down the answers to the questions 1 to 10 on this page. Write it down, right next to it, and write small and highlight it, okay? They're going to maybe ask you, what is the audience? And provide an example of an audience, okay? What is, I don't like the oral communication, I'll say verbal communication, okay? Provide an example. What is meant by group dynamics? This is a good question, okay? Group ownership and conclusions. That is down the answers of these questions. If you're not sure, you're welcome to send me an email. Annelie, what is this answer? I will look it up for you. Although it's our last training session of the year, I'm still available on WhatsApp or email. I prefer have my file also in front of me and I can answer you. Okay, then section 2, we're going to move over. So this is important. Page 26, answer this. You're going to definitely get an answer. Because that's how come they want you to do a self-assessment question, that you are familiar with this, okay? These guidelines in preparation. If you roll your eyes or if you are irritated, I'm going to see if you're nervous, okay? So use your voice. All the cameras must be on. Use the phrases. It will emphasize the importance of what you just said, okay? And use it the same as a comma or a full stop, okay? That you don't sound like a recording machine. Volume, again, use the volume. Okay, intonation refers to the tonal quality and pitch of your voice. Okay, I don't know if you remember the singer Sonia Herold. Yankee, you know that it was quite irritating. So look at the pitch of your voice. Try to keep it low and slow. Okay. Voice feedback may be listening for your feedback. What does the tone of my voice sound like? Okay, non-verbal communication, body language. Here's everything you want to know about body language. There wasn't really. It's just exercises that you can do. Okay, activity 2.3. I share my screen. Place the correct facial expression along with the correct emotion. And you will see I said boredom is yawn. Involvement, okay, is good eye contact. Agreement is nodding of the head while you talk. Facial expressions while you communicate with your buyers or sellers. Boredom can be eye contact, or it can be yawn. Okay, so there's another boredom. Difference of opinion, shaking of the head. Okay, so I color coded that. Gestures. Okay, this is your body language. Okay, do you throw your hands? You know, so yeah, fiddling with the pen, that's super irritating. My son does it the whole time. It's super. If you work with your buyers or sellers, don't do that, okay? Don't stop fidgeting with your hair, with your presentation, because you're going to do the presentation and record yourself, and then you're going to see, oh, I fiddle a lot, or I move my hands too fast. You're going to look at your body posture, okay? This is again body posture. Okay? You're going to stare at the ceiling straight ahead. If you're going to be shocked, you're going to look away from someone. If you're relaxed, you're going to drag your feet. I just highlighted this activity. I don't think they will ask you in the exam, you know. Again, body. View the video of your presentation and improve if necessary. Repetition is important. You have to do this at least 3 times. Only then will you improve. Okay, that's going to be such fun to work on that. Okay, planning for your. This will guide you again on page 35 for your presentation. Okay. On that you're going to do in PowerPoint. Okay. Oh, this was okay. What is the final impression that you feel you will make on the audience when you record it yourself? Briefly summarize the key ideas. Look or plan ahead any questions that you might get, okay, that you think the audience might ask you, okay. Make a lasting impression on the audience, okay, by exiting your photo or a powerful, but exit powerfully that they have something to think about. You know, you leave them with a good message. Okay, maybe you can tell your seller, this is why you must use estate. We can do this and this and this for you. Emphasize that. Okay, you must plan your concluding remarks very carefully, because that's your lasting impression. The one that answer the following questions as honestly as possible. Now you can play your presentation to your family members, and your presentation with the EAAB, because they need to have, and we're going to load it on YouTube. We're going to make it private, but they're going to see that. And it's, you're not going to waste my time or the team members' time if you prepare in advance and ask your family and friends to assist you on page 37 to assess. Okay. The information material that you're going to use, okay, is you're going to do it on PowerPoint. You can use a poster, you can use graphs, and obviously your PowerPoint presentation. You can refer back to the website. Yeah, so I just highlighted what you will need for your presentation over there. Information handouts. Selling your home brochure example. I actually do. I didn't load it on my I just want to go back to documents. Okay. And I just want to go to the training session. Sorry for this. We're at training session 6. This was it's an example that you can hand it out, drop it in your sellers' postal boxes, or put it on their gates with a little press stick or whatever. Do you want to sell your home? And then there's like how to prepare your home to a double-sided document, and how to choose the agent, one or more agent. I can email this to you after we're done. Then okay, so that's the brochure example. You can add a brochure in your presentation if you want to, because it will guide your audience more. Let's say you see for a seller, developer, a useful summary of the presentation that you want to, let's say you're going to go and see a seller. You can hand this out to take home the main key points of your presentation. Always have, if you list a house, a brochure or a pamphlet, what information will you give the seller? How are we going to guide him through this whole process? What do? We will follow up with all the parts the week, blah, blah, blah. I did put this on the WhatsApp group. Okay. So brochure, and you can print the brochure yourself. You don't need to go to a printer and do that. You can just print it out on your own printer and provide it to him. Questions?
Annelie,
Hello?
if you decide
Yeah.
to do a project proposal instead of a business plan, will all of these exercises be, will all of those correspond to these exercises?
Okay, define your project plan. Like you want to do a project on what? Project on
So
what?
let's say I want to help my investors to find better opportunities when renting out. So not just the normal means of doing it.
Perfect.
So if I do my research on it and
You
I
can use
do
the same. You don't necessarily do a presentation on that. That will be very interesting. Okay. I just thought, since you guys are doing a marketing plan, it's easier, because you have the information at hand. But you don't necessarily have to have the marketing. You don't necessarily have to do a presentation on your marketing plan. If you want to choose a different topic, but it must be real estate related, but you can do that. That's actually such a good idea, Mariska, and I think we all can learn from you then, okay, and see what you're going to tell your investors. Yeah, because okay, and then you will look at all your. I'm not going to spoon feed you, but there's various aspects that you will have to look at, and you're going to have to be extremely analytical, okay, because investors. They won't do that if they're not extremely analytical. Okay, so
yeah,
that will be good. I'm looking forward to your presentation. Okay.
okay. Okay, thank you.
That's maybe a good idea for you. Okay, did I answer your question, Marusha? I answered it. Hey.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, okay, perfect. So maybe in your brainstorming session, you can say, listen, how can I'm going to email you guys my selling pamphlet. How can you zoop it up and print it out and take it to a seller if you list a property? How can you provide your buyer with information, valuable information, and put the estate multimedia ad site? I think Estate Zone Group has a very powerful website. Okay. If you go and see your clients, take your laptop with, show them the website. Okay. And someone is on the website, they can private property, blah, blah, blah. So, but always looking to refer them to the website. Okay. Maintain interaction and compare for that. This presentation is so important. It's a lot of work. You're going to see a 10-minute presentation is going to take you at least 1 to 2 hours to prepare, okay? And then you have to exercise it. Now, they said at the beginning of the chapter should take about 50 hours of your time, okay? That's why so we do like double work, or we eliminate double work because we do our business plan, our marketing plan, while we effectively communicate verbally and written communication, and we're going to do the presentation. So they prepare, okay? Over your time. We set 10 minutes. If you like 1 or 2 minutes over, that's fine. Okay. But don't be like 5 to 10 minutes over. At over my time, or even if 10% immediately of my final grade. Okay. So this is so important to keep time. Set a timer if you record yourself. It's going to make you nervous. The first time when I started to do a presentation, I was like way over my time because I had such short time and I wanted to share so much information. Sorry. I wanted to share so much information. So it's very important to highlight what you want to convey. And do, like I said, a deduction of the information. A deduction is all the key points. And if see that you in your 10-minute if you talk to people, if you talk to your buyer or your seller, you look them in the eye, okay? If you're going to do it on camera, look straight. Don't look at your screen because you need to know the information that you that will learn you how to look your audience in the eye. Okay, if you can't put like a little money key or a sticker or something next to your camera and try to focus, then to look at the camera. Okay, if you don't know where your camera is, it's normally on top in the middle of your laptop screen. Okay, if you see you over the time restructure your ask questions, feel free, but we're not going to interrupt you because there's a time limit, but we're going to ask you questions afterwards. But if you go to ask me questions as we intonation to emphasize importance, okay? Vary the intonation of your voice, okay? Be self-confident, okay? Using the appropriate body language. Maintain eye contact. Activity 2.11, you can ask your family and friends, again, there on page 44. Again, there's a self-assessment. Write down the answers of questions 1 to 8, okay? And you can tag these pages. You can say answers, and in the previous one also answers, okay? What is meant by answer this to see if you know what the content is, and if you know what you're talking about, if you have an overview of the file. So highlight the key concepts again, okay? Manipulative use of language, okay? In our work environment, you won't sell a house if you not try, you have to apply some sort of manipulation, because you have to project your on that buyer, and say, listen, this is such a good property because this and this and this and this and this. It's not manipulation, but you will come across manipulative language, okay? This now, it's an example, okay? You always have to inform buyers if a person committed suicide in a property, okay? You will always have to, if you know in future next to this house, okay? In Red Flag View, we had properties that the walls were built incorrectly on the property from the neighbor. You had this is part of manipulation, okay? Facts and opinions. This is so important. Always distinguish between facts and opinion. Here, a fact that it's correct. It's a statement. A fact is a statement. An opinion is a statement about an object on a occurrence which reflect what you think, okay? Now, for me, a fact can be your opinion. You can make the fact sound like your opinion, né? But I always ask, who's the source? Because my mother-in-law was famous for hulle sê dit of hulle sê dat. Then you always say, who's your source? A fact, look at your source. Who's the source? What is the source of the fact? Is it the municipality? Is it in the bylaws? Where do you get that information from? What is your source? Okay, and you can fact. If you can cite your source and you can cite your fact, then it's say this is from the building regulations from blah 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 blah. Then it's a fact. Okay, it's not your opinion. Okay, selective omission of fact. Omitted to create a particular view of reality. Okay, this can be dangerous. Okay, sometimes you don't give the That's why we have that foot twisting and then information that the seller must disclose before the buyer even sign the contract. Okay. Okay. Okay, now they're talking of research. This is now the source that I talked about. Who says it? Okay, on whom homeowners association? Is it the body corporate, or is it an individual who's mad at the other individual? How does that information compare been done? They talk as who is your source? Why are they doing it? What is the purpose of it? And who's your source? They, I just highlighted it for you to help you. And this is with everything and why. Okay. This was to me, research indicate that most estate agents would rather lie to a prospective buyer than risk losing a potential sale. I mean, what is a fact and what is an opinion? So if you battle with that, send me an email with your answers. If you have a question, send me an email with your question. If not, and you want to have more clarity on it, it's difficult. But always look at your source and ask questions. Why? Why are they doing this? Why are they saying this? How does it compare? I always ask who will benefit from it. Is it to create order? Is it a one-sided approach? You have to ask questions about facts. Okay, you can't just take someone's perception as expressive characteristics of speech, again, tone, sound optimistic, and speak with authority. Okay, this will help you in your presentation as well. The style, okay, if you're optimistic, you will be much more convincing. Okay, the style in which the speaker addresses an audience will have an effect. Interprets what the speakers say. This is very important stuff for your sellers and your buyers. Okay, point of view is again that person's perspective. Know what's important. This is the activity for you. What you need to do. I don't think there will be questions on this because if you do an advertisement, let's say in the brainstorming session, how you want to zoom up the marketing, who's the target market, this what is the tone of your advertisement? What verbal style do you use? Because this will depend on your target market, okay? Will the advertisement reflect a definite include in the advertisement, okay? What facts will you intentionally omit? You can say this is the fastest growing area in the east of Pretoria. And that you will reflect. Maybe Estate Zone's group perception of this specific product. Okay, so you will have facts and you will have perceptions. Distortion of language. If you alter that, it creates the wrong impression. That's harmful to your buyers and your sellers. Okay. The estate agent focused on the size of was neglected. However, they mentioned that sorry, the estate agent focused on the size of the plot, but he didn't emphasize on the major road. So I always say it as it is. Say, although we need in front of the buyer. The buyer is the one to decide. Will they prefer a noisy with a smaller yard or a plot or whatever? Okay. Like originator assured the prospective buyer that she won't get difficulty in obtaining a loan, but not mention ability. Okay, don't withhold anything. Okay. Be aware of your audience. It's going to be difficult now in your presentation, but in real life, if you do a look at their body language, okay? Identify hidden messages as well as manipulative languages that they might use, okay? Again, on page 58, there is a self-assessment question. Write down the answers again of page 1 to 10 on this page, key definitions, okay? I think that was it. I'm going to switch my camera on now. Do you guys want me to email you this document that I highlighted? And then I'm going to stop screen sharing. Let me just quickly stop. Okay. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, 100%.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want me, Estelle, with that brochure for how to sell your own, or highlight your own, or print mine, or do whatever you need to do, but it must be in color? Okay, so if you have questions on our next training session and your presentation, you're welcome to email me. I will answer all your questions. Is there any questions now?
No.
Yeah, Kasara.
Not. Okay. Okay, perfect. I'm going to